In this video, we're going to teach you how to install a stockade fence. This job is really special because we are installing stockade around the entire property here in Merrick, New York. Another reason it's special is because we have 3 different heights of stockade on the job. On the front right, we are doing 4 foot high. On the left side of the house, we are doing 5 foot high. And then in the rear, we are doing 6 foot high. This job also includes 3 gates. So we're going to teach you how we build stockade gates on the job site. A really great video to watch, and I'm sure you're going to find it very informative and helpful for your home project. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We release 2 new videos every week. Now let's get started with this installation. Now we are on the front right side of the property. This is going to be the 4 foot high area. We're putting a gate right here next to the house. As you'll see, Freddie is digging the hole next to the house here. For the gates, we're going to use a decorative Gothic or King's Peak post. I like to use these for the gates because it's much easier to hang a gate centered between these posts than on posts that are behind the sections. It also looks a lot nicer and makes for a better entranceway. Now this is an interesting situation here because we have to get this post as close to the house as possible, but as you'll see, there's a gutter here on the side. So Freddie is just trying to finagle it and get it in the right position so that way we minimize the gap between the house and the post while also making it look nice.
Now the crew is installing the 4 foot high line of fence on the front right of the property. As you will see, there are a lot of trees on this line, so this was a tough area for installation.
Now we're on the left front side of the property, and here we are going to be installing a 5 foot high stockade fence. The first step in setting your line of fence is to put the posts on both sides. Then you're going to set a string line. This will ensure that the fence goes in a direct line exactly where you need it to go. Now, because this line in particular has a gate, we set the location of the gate. Now you can make these gates custom with.
We are going to set our gate opening so that we do not have to split a picket on the gate. You want the opening to be about 1 inch wider than the gate size.
And we are digging those holes right now. And we're going to secure these posts the same way you've seen us secure a lot of our wood fence posts in these tutorials. We are going to simply put it in the hole, then fill that hole up with dirt. Then we're going to hold the post plumb and compact that dirt nice and strong so that the post is held steady. Then we're going to top it off with more dirt. Now, as you'll see, when you're connecting the section to the decorative Gothic post here, we're going to put the screws directly through the rails on the back of the section. That way we're able to connect it to the side.
When setting the second gate post, we want to make sure that it sits at the same height as the previous gate post. Simply put a rail or post across the top of the gate opening and check the level.
Now, because here is a gate post, we're going to put some dry cement and pack it down with the dirt there just to make it a little bit stronger. All right, now we are installing the section right here on the other side of the gate opening. We're going to screw the section into the decorative post the same way we did on the other side. We're just going to put the screws behind the section directly through the rails. And then here, for this post, we're just going to put the screws directly in the front of the section. Now you'll see next to the house, we're going to have a small section, a cut piece. We're going to simply measure that distance and then cut the section accordingly. Normally in the front of the house here, I would like to do 2 even pieces. However, there's a big tree here with roots that go underneath the ground, and the customer did not want us to disturb them. So he was okay with us doing a full piece here and then a small piece next to the house. But keep in mind, from the front of the house, you're not even going to know because the posts are going to be completely covered. You'll only see that small piece from the backyard. Now, as you'll see, this front portion is all set. We have our nice decorative gate opening here. We're going to save the gate building for the end of the job. First, we are going to set this entire line of fence going along the side here, and we are going to show you how to install each one of these sections. Let's get into it. Now we are on the rear left corner of the house, and as you'll see, this side is bordering the neighbor's driveway. So for safety reasons, we opted to do an angled fence here. That way, when the neighbor is pulling out of the driveway, if someone is walking along the sidewalk here, they'll be able to see them. If we went with a stockade fence all the way to this corner, their view of the sidewalk and the street would be obstructed. So we are digging the holes here for the posts. We are going to go on an angle from here to here. So you see, this is where we're gonna do the angled piece, and as you'll see right here, we cut these rails on an angle so that way we could screw them in nice and easy. All right, now we have the angle all set up and installed. We're going to install one section here, and then we are going to have another gate.
We are going to install one full section, and then we are going to make a gate opening with the decorative King's Peak posts. We will follow the same process that we showed in the front.
Now we have our second gate opening all set, and we're gonna start installing this section. So now we're gonna measure the length of our section over from the gate post. Hersan's making a mark in the ground, and we're going to dig a hole right here for the next post. So it's always great to dig in pairs, especially when you have a big job like this. It'll really preserve your energy. I was using the digger. Now, once the ground gets too compact for the digger to make progress, Hersan's gonna come in with the tamping bar and loosen up the dirt for me. Now we're gonna carry over the section.
To make sure the sections on both sides of the gate opening line up, we mark the location at which to screw in the top rail.
Now we're going to put our next post in the hole. Now for the post going along the line of fence, we want to bring the section to about the middle of the post. Then we are just going to screw directly into the front of the section. We screw the section in about the center of the post here.
Then, before moving on to the next section, we will secure this post.
Now we're going to continue the fence line this way, so I'm going to help Freddie out. I'm going to take the end of his tape. Now remember, we're going center to center, so I'm going to measure from the end of this section, and then we're going to measure over the length of our section, and Freddie's going to make a mark. That's where we're going to put the next hole. Now we have the next hole all finished. We're going to bring over a section here. We have the two most muscular men on the job bringing over the fence.
Oh yes, yes we are, boy.
All right, so we're gonna lift the stockade fence over the string line here. And now we're just gonna connect it to the other section. Real simple.
Pick it up. We're gonna make a level, thank you.
And now we're simply going to put a screw directly into the front of the section. We put one screw per rail. So these 5-foot high sections that we're installing have 3 back rails. So we're gonna put a screw in the top, the middle, and the bottom. The 6-foot high along the back is gonna be the same. The 4-foot high only has 2 rails. So you just put one screw in top, one screw in the bottom. Now we're gonna bring over the other post to put in this hole. All right, and just like we did before, we're gonna bring the section to about the center of the post, and Freddie is just gonna put a screw directly into the front of the section, through this rail and into the post. Now we're gonna do the same thing for the middle rail and for the bottom rail. Now once the section is screwed into the post, we're going to secure this post the same way I explained before. We are just repeating the process throughout the fence line. So let's get some dirt in the hole and let's tamp it down nice, compact. Now this post is nice and secure. We're going to measure over and start the next hole over there. Now you'll notice as we are installing these posts, we don't want to see them from the front of the fence. These are hidden behind the sections. However, from inside the property, you want the posts to stick up a few inches past the top rail. This is just aesthetically nice. Just as an example, you see how this post is sticking up right here? That is not what we want. We want the top of the post to be down here, so that way the posts are hidden. So we're gonna take that out and dig a little bit deeper, right?
Yes.
Another important thing to keep in mind when you're installing a stockade fence is which direction to face the fence. Generally, you want the rail side facing in toward your yard and the picket side facing your neighbor, or in this case, toward the street. If you have a pool in the yard, it's mandatory that you have the rails facing in because a kid can climb up on those rails, go over the fence, and then access your pool. So generally, we always have the rail side facing in and the picket side facing out. But if you are selling this style of fence, this is an important conversation to have with your customer because a lot of people will still want the picket side facing into the yard. So you have to inform them that this would not meet pool code and generally is not the right way to do it. Now we're going to install the next section the same way we did before. We are going to bring this section over to the post and meet it up against the other section. Now, you see what I was talking about before? the sections completely cover the post. So from this side of the fence, all you see are the nice pretty pickets. Now before we screw in the section, we just have to lift it up slightly to make sure that the top of the pickets on this section are level with the previously installed, which they are. So Freddie is going to put the screw in the top rail and begin installing this. All right, now we're gonna put that post in the hole there, just like we did before. Perfect, it sticks up just a few inches past the top rail. So we wanna line up the section to about the center of that post.
In order to finish this line of fence, we will have a small piece at the corner. We are simply going to measure that space and cut the section accordingly. Then we will screw a picket in the corner to cover up the gap. Now we are going to install the 6-foot-high stockade fence along the rear of the property. The process for installing the 6-foot-high stockade is exactly the same as the 5-foot-high.
Now we're going to show you how to build the stockade gates. There are many ways you could brace a stockade gate, but today we're going to show you an X brace.
Either measure your opening and deduct an inch to know how big to make your gate, or even better, you should cut your gate so that you don't have to split a picket, and then set your opening an inch bigger than the gate. The gate will always look better with complete pickets. Take a speed square on the corner of the section and make sure your piece of fence is square. Now take a tape measure and mark the center of the gate. Place a rail on a diagonal from the center of the gate to each corner. Use a straight edge to draw a line where the back rail and the diagonal rails meet. Then you are going to cut those lines with a circular saw. Repeat this process 4 times. Now place the rails into the gate and make an X. At this point, you should also make sure to give this video a thumbs up so that more people can benefit from this instruction. So hit that like button, it helps us a lot. Next, you are going to pre-drill each end of the diagonal brace into the fence back rails. Always pre-drill before you screw to avoid splitting and cracking. Now you are ready to screw the X brace into the fence back rails. Once the brace is screwed into position, the gate is ready to hang. First, pre-drill the hinges and the latch rod onto the gate. Then, screw the hinges and the latch rod onto the gate. Next, screw the hinges onto the hinge post. Make sure your gate is level before you secure the hardware. Place the latch on the latch post and close the gate. Make sure the latch rod and the latch line up. If the alignment is good, make a mark, then open the gate so it's out of the way. Now place the latch against your mark and screw the latch into the latch post. Now you have to secure the pickets to the brace. We simply hammer picket nails into the front of the pickets along the whole length of the brace. Here is the complete stockade gate. This gate is made of spruce stockade, but you can follow the same process for cedar stockade.
Now you'll see for the 4-foot high gate, since it's shorter and this only has 2 rails, we opted to just go for a diagonal brace. If you're going to do a diagonal brace, make sure the bottom of the brace is on the hinge side of the gate. That'll offer the right support. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this tutorial. Please subscribe to our channel. Use this button right here in the center. We release 2 new videos every week and you don't want to miss them. Check out this related content and we'll see you in the next video.